Begin our service for Aunt Tommy this morning with the text of the 90th Psalm. Tefillah Moshe Isha Elohim, a prayer of Moses, man of God. Adonai ma'on ata hayita lanu bedor vador. B'terem harim yuladu vatchol el eretz v'tevel, umei olam ad olam ata el. Tashev enosh ad daka vatomer shuvu b'nei adam. Ki elef shanim be'enecha ki yom etmol ki ya'avor v'ashmara v'layla. O Lord, you have been our refuge from generation to generation. Before the mountains were born, or the earth was fashioned. From eternity to eternity, everlastingly, you are God. But human beings, you crumble to dust. And you say, return, O mortals, 1,000 years in your sight are like a passing day or an hour of night. The day comes, you sweep us away, and we sleep like grass, flourishing for a day. In the morning we sprout afresh, by nightfall we fade and wither. 70 our years may number, 80 years, if granted the vigor. Laden with trouble and travail, life quickly passes and flies away. Who can know the power of your anger or measure the reverence due you? We only ask that you teach us to use all of our days, that we may in life attain a heart of wisdom. Match our days of sadness with days of joy equal to the years we have struggled. Then your servants will see your power. Then their children will know your glory. The favor of the Lord our God be upon us. God will establish the work of our hands. The work of our hands God will surely establish. Vayehi Noam Adonai Eloheinu aleinu ma'aseh yadenu konana aleinu u'ma'aseh yadenu konanehu. Eloheinu velohei avotenu, our God, God of our ancestors, shepherd of Israel, guide us with love and guide us also with compassion. If when faced with grief and loss, we grow distant from you, do not abandon us, but instead draw us closer to you and to your presence. We ask that you grant solace and comfort to all those who mourn, that they should sustain each other with the blessings of memory. In the valley of the shadow of death, beside the still waters, and in the green pastures, you, God, become our shepherd. Be our strength today, and also be our shield and our guide and our comfort today and throughout all our days. And let's together say to that, Amen. Amen. You know, there are certain indelible images that for whatever reason remain imprinted in our minds. I think we all carry them. We can call them up in an instant. There they are, flashing as if right in front of our eyes. And they bring us back to sometimes particular times, sometimes particular places. But I think more than anything else, they bring us back to particular feelings, to a sense of who we are, where we've come from, and also what is most important to us. And one of those images that I carry in my mind, have for a long, long time, is a black and white photo. It's a picture of Marvin and Temi, probably taken in 1948, 1949, like movie star couple. Uncle Marvin is flexing his muscles, I think, for the photo. Aunt Temi is in a bikini, I mean, looking unbelievable. You're talking about wearing a bikini in the 40s, okay? Drop dead gorgeous, big smiles on their faces, holding hands, Uncle Marvin's hand around Aunt Temi's waist, his arm around her waist. And even in the black and white photo, you can see the sparkle in their eyes. And Kara posted that photo, I think this morning on Instagram, just this morning on Instagram. And the thing about that image is that although the years went by, and they've gone by since then, you know, Aunt Temi probably was 20 in that picture, maybe 19. And here today we're celebrating 95 years of our life. Okay? The years have gone by. Marvin and Temi married now almost 75 years. That's a lifetime alone for some people. And since that photo was taken, 48, 49, whatever it was, Sharon, Judy, and Howard have been born, grown up, you know, into adults. And there were grandchildren, and there were great-grandchildren. The years have definitely gone by. But you know, the thing about it is, that image, that's the way Temmie and Marvin look in my mind always. That's the way they looked in my mind 20 years ago when they were 75. That's the way they looked in my mind 10 years ago, or at their 70th anniversary party 4 or 5 years ago. That's the way they looked in my mind 2 weeks ago when I went to visit Aunt Temmie and Uncle Marvin was sitting by her side. Same smiles, same sparkling eyes, same love, same love. Marvin and Temmie, Temmie and Marvin, I mean, you can't decouple it. You can't decouple it. For me, and I think probably for most of us here today, it is virtually impossible to think of one without the other. And in so many ways together, they were the nexus of our family. When we gathered, almost always we gathered at Marvin and Temmie's. I mean, the celebrations and the parties and the special birthdays and the anniversaries and the weddings, and then the harder moments also, Shivas also. And of course, the big Passover Seders that Aunt Temmie so artfully oversaw every year. It's so striking to me that Seder tomorrow night. It's just weird to me. And here we are today. And at all of these occasions, Aunt Temmie presided with style, definitely with humor, definitely with a lot of sass, always with laughter. Commonly from the kitchen, she would like orchestrate everything that was going on, and the food preparation and the serving and the cleaning up, often with the TV going in the background, you know, the little black and white TV. Back in the day, maybe a cigarette going as well. And you knew if you wanted to spend just a few minutes with your number one fan, all you had to do was walk into that kitchen. 95 years. She was born in the fall of 1926. Just to try to contextualize that for you a little bit, Calvin Coolidge was president of the United States. Her years were not always easy. She lost her father, Sam, when she was little, just 4 years old. Her mother, Anna, worked hard to keep the large family together. There were 9 children total between Sam and Anna. I hope I'm getting this right. We went over, and the 4 older boys, I think, were already out of the house when Sam died. And Aunt Temmie knew what it was like to grow up with very little. She knew illness also in her life. She had cancer in the late 70s, heart disease that required bypass surgery in the early 90s. But my Aunt Temmie was a strong lady. She was. She was resilient. She was determined. She was independent. Strength of will. She could be stubborn at times. And she moved forward, and she healed, and she lived. And here we are today, grateful for 95 years of life that she had and what she gave to all of us that we will carry forward. Now, certainly one of those things is love for, commitment to, and pride in family. Aunt Temmie was a loyal and loving and devoted sister, mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, and aunt. She wanted the very best for each and every member of her family. She was protective of her family, fiercely so. She would take no guff about anyone in the family. She loved Sharon and Judy and Howard. She loved Michael and Richard, knew she was lucky with her sons-in-law. In a moment, some of her grandchildren are going to share some thoughts. Suffice it to say, you could not find a more loving and proud Bubby, and she thrilled in the accomplishments of Philip and Jenna, Adam and Jack and Natanya and Kara, Charles, Shane and Jordan, and Grace. She was beyond thrilled to be a great-grandmother, 7 times over. Family for her was where it stopped, and that was where it started. But there were other things too. She very much believed in community and in giving back and in standing up for people who couldn't stand up for themselves. That was important to her. She was in the sorority guild for many years. She served as a voting judge. She was a total news hound, political junkie through and through. She was passionate about her politics and decidedly liberal in her views. She was also a straight shooter. She would tell you what was on her mind. She did not mince words. And when she had an opinion, generally she was going to let you know what it was. She also was very bright. She had a great head for numbers. She played a mean game of mahjong or poker. And she always enjoyed the chance to get to the slot machines in Atlantic City as well. Aunt Timmy also was very beautiful. She was of the generation, every week you went to the beauty shop. That was sacrosanct time. And she had great style. When she was going out, the makeup was on, the hair was perfect, the outfit just exactly right, the jewelry's on, and she knew how to have fun. She was spunky, she was feisty, she was funny, she was sharp, infectious laugh. Sometimes in the house, the banter going back and forth between Marvin and Timmy, it was hard to follow sometimes. It was fast. It was fast. But they were laughing and laughing. And we all laughed with them. Enveloped in a sense of warmth and caring and family and a lot of love. I want to just for a second go back to my cousins and Uncle Marvin. Sharon, Judy, and Howard. You guys have been great kids. Yeah. So devoted to both your mom and your dad. Michael and Richard right along with you the whole way. Thank you. And Uncle Marvin, above and beyond. All the way to the last weeks, the last hours, and the last minutes. Through thick and thin, thick and thin. You two loved each other so much, and we all knew it. It was plain to see. It was plain to see. It was crystal clear. It was visible, not only to our eyes, but even visible to the eyes of the world. Great lady, great wife, great mom, great bubby, great aunt, great friend, great, great life. Let's be grateful. I'm going to pause and invite some of my Aunt Timmy's grandchildren who I know have remarks that they would like to share about their bubby. So, guys, just come on up.
It's naive to admit that I never thought I would see a day like this because I really always believed that Bubby would be in my life forever. And of course she will be. In my memories, in my daily actions, and throughout my entire future, I'll always have her. Bubby's impact on my life has been so transformative and reassuring. It would truly take me hours to go through all that I've learned from her. What I truly appreciate most is having someone in my life that always made me feel loved, accepted, and purposeful. I always had a friend waiting for me with a back pocket full of stories, games, jokes, and the best food ever. She was the best grandmother and the best teacher because she always preached love, equality, and kindness for everyone, and she always made it a mission to not judge people. The best lesson I learned from her is to always be kind and nice to others because you never know how much you can really impact other people and the entire world with kindness. And I saw that firsthand by all the people that were touched by Temi because she truly was a nice, loving person with a glowing personality and a tearless heart. A day won't go by without me thinking about my Bubby and the endless moments we shared laughing together. Thank you, Bubby, for accepting me, loving me, and giving me these beautiful people that I can always call family. You were always there to pick me up after I was down, and I was always there to pick you up when you were down. Literally. So many people are sad to see you go, but I know so many people are ecstatic to reunite with you after so long. Rest peacefully, Bubby. You'll always be in my heart.
Bubby was and will always be one of my favorite people. She was the boss. She knew exactly what she wanted from life, and she made it happen. She had an intrinsic desire to form her own opinions, with the courage to voice them and the stubbornness to defend them. She always spoke her mind and never held back, even if that meant she thought your outfit was absolutely atrocious. Her words were those of raw honesty, and we could not love her more for that. She was well respected. She knew how to lay down the law. She was the only person that could have 7 crazy, hyperactive children who were constantly wrestling, teasing, and running around, do nearly anything to avoid stepping on a sacred white carpet that encompassed her living room. She was the perfect balance of elegance, poise, beauty, and fiery wit. She had the best humor with the most infectious laugh, which inevitably turned into a gentle head bob because she'd laugh so hard till she couldn't breathe. And finally, she loved deeply. She loved her family, and even more, she wholeheartedly loved her husband. They supported each other truly in sickness and in health. We can all only dream to have the love that they shared and fought for. While her passing feels like an irreparable void that's scary and dark and unknown, we can find comfort in our memories and in knowing that she's finally home and at peace. Bubby, thank you for teaching us life's greatest lessons. We will always love you.
My Bubby Temmie was my hero. We had a special bond, the firstborn granddaughter and Virgo sisters. I always felt that she was a soulmate. Bubby was a strong, opinionated woman. She spoke her mind and stuck to her guns. When she made up her mind about something, she was steadfast and determined. Some of you may have heard about the infamous Wingwa Walk. A woman who I never saw or knew to exercise a day in her life set out on a 2.5-mile spite walk home from a restaurant after a disagreement with Sadie. I loved her for that. My Bubby was beautiful. She literally glowed and lit up a room with her smile and radiant skin, and she was extremely vain. Her hair and nails always impeccable, and she never missed an appointment at her favorite place, the beauty shop. She always dressed to impress. I loved her for that too. My Bubby followed politics. She was extremely informed and advocated for equal rights for all human beings. I feel so blessed to have had a grandparent and role model of her generation with an open mind and unprejudiced views. But it's possible that my favorite thing about my Bubby was her sense of humor. She had the best laugh and would laugh until she cried. Aunt Sharon and I get that from her. My fondest memories are of laughing with my Bubby. One year, Aunt Sharon and I went down to Florida, just us two, to visit. Aunt Sharon tripped, Bubby laughed. I tripped, Bubby laughed. A stranger tripped, and Bubby laughed. We all laughed till we cried, and our bellies ached. There's a saying that laughter is the sound of our souls dancing, and I would do anything to dance with her just one more time. Even though you are no longer here with us earthside, your spirit lives on inside of me and all of us. Life is a precious gift. It's important to tell people that you love them. I learned that from my Bubby because she never missed an opportunity to tell me.
Before I get started, I want to thank you all for being here today and filling this room with an extraordinary amount of love and support for the Schwartz family. I want to thank my cousins and my sister for sharing their kind and beautiful words. This showing in and of itself speaks volumes about what and who Thelma Schwartz was, and I want to spend the next several minutes talking about how she will forever be remembered in our minds and in our hearts. I see a lot of familiar faces in front of me. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Shane, son of Howard, grandson of Bubby. As Bubby's health began to decline more rapidly over the past 6 weeks, and knowing that I wanted to speak today, I began thinking of how to adequately address a fulsome 95 years of life in a 5-minute speech that would justly represent my Bubby. 95 years in 5 minutes. It's overwhelming. But if I break it down into simple one-word pieces, I can begin to put piece by piece together to create a lasting image of my Bubby. Let's start with the obvious word of choice, the one that I know she would absolutely require speak of first, beauty. My Bubby was a fashionista through and through, sweatsuits in every color, a shoe collection that could stretch around the block, hats of every style that one could imagine, hairs and nails always perfect, and glistening skin. That beauty spanned across multiple decades, generations, and fashion cycles. And it was that beauty and perfectly fitting boss-like attitude that enabled her to light up every room she stepped in. In those moments, to some she was simply Bubby, but to me, seeing that confidence, class, and style, she was Bub-Yonsei. Resilience. It's a powerful word. And if you can implement it into your life, like my Bubby did, then you can beat the odds. You can accomplish the unthinkable. You can prove the doubters wrong, and most importantly, you can inspire those around you to do the same. Breast cancer, double mastectomy, heart problems, and a triple bypass. Surviving any one of those events is an enormous challenge. Surviving all those events to live a life full of love, laughter, and confidence until the age of 95. That is truly unbelievable. But that was my Bubby, resilient. That unwavering toughness, fight, and resilience did not wane as she aged either. I was blessed enough to witness this firsthand over the past 6 weeks. Bubby was bedridden. Her body was beginning to fail her. She was simply running out of juice. But no matter how tired, weak, or uncomfortable she was during those final weeks, leading all the way up to her final days with us, she mustered up the energy to smile, make a joke or two, or simply engage with those around her and those who came to visit. She didn't do that for herself. She did it for her husband, her children, her grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and extended family. She was an exemplary of selfless resilience. Loyalty. A lot of people are happy to give it when times are good, but unconditional loyalty, being there when the chips are down, when mistakes are made, or when those regrettable moments present themselves and no one wants to be within a mile of it, that type of loyalty, that is rare. And that was Bubby. 7+ decades of loving marriage to my incredible Zadie. I could stop there, given the magnitude of commitment that illustrates in and of itself. However, Bubby's loyalty went far beyond that. When it came to those she loved, she was a fearless lioness, always willing to fend off those who tried to do wrong by her children, her grandchildren, her nieces or nephews, and even her own political party. Always willing to pick up when you fell, whether for right, wrong, or indifferent. She knew no other way. and it is one of the traits that made her so special. Beauty, resilience, loyalty. While these pieces are fundamental to Bubby's picture, the piece that brings it all together, the focal point of her masterpiece, of her legacy, why she lived the way she lived, comes down to my final word: family. The culture of family that my Bubby and Zadie created has transcended beyond their direct lineage and has broken down the traditional barriers of who and what family encompasses. To be one of inclusiveness, love, and understanding that touch not only their children and grandchildren, but also aunts, uncles, cousins, and family friends. That culture is the glue that will hold this family, that will hold you all, and your children and your children's children together for the next 95 years. While life is unpredictable, while our priorities can shift from time to time, and our relationships can take peaks and troughs, we owe it to Bubby to never take for granted and to never lose sight of the one constant that she spent her life building for all of us to lean on for stability and comfort throughout our own individual journeys, the constant of family. I love you, Bubby. Your impact is immeasurable, and may you rest in peace with a big smile on your face, a stylish haircut, and a deck of cards and a Coke by your side. Thank you.
So bear with me here. I didn't prepare anything written down. So a couple things that I just kind of want to address: laughter and family. I think it's key here, as you see Astrid, Cousin Lynn, Thomas back there, and everyone else, that I personally don't know who my first cousins are, second cousins are, third cousins are, fifth cousins once removed, Mitch, Andrea. So I think that it all starts with Zadie and Bubby, that they just established a cool family base. And just want to say thank you all for showing your support. Second, laughter. I think I get my laughter from my mom, who got it from her. And every time I walked in when I was, 15 or younger, and sometimes you tried to make me do it, even recently, I would be able to make her laugh without doing anything. I don't know what I did. I don't know. I don't know. So when they would tell me to do it in the past couple years, I wouldn't know what to do. And I would just hope she laughed. I don't know. But yeah, I just wanted to pinpoint those two kind of things that stood out to me and kind of stood out to all of you. Thank you for coming.
So, can't forget number one. So the things that stick out to me, just some stories I think are the best. To me, I felt like whoever Bubby was talking to, you were the center of her attention. And that could be whether you were family, whether you weren't her family, whether you were a stranger. So even when the room was full, like if you're in the room now, if she was talking to you, she was talking to you. She wasn't talking to anybody else. And with phones and technology and all the things of today, I think people miss that point of being able to connect with those you're with. And I think that that's something that Bubby did. Kind of an example of that, many years back, I don't know if all of you remember, we were only allowed to come for Shabbos. I don't know if you remember that. You weren't invited. And it was just us. And the thing with that was everybody got to choose something for Bubby to make. So again, you were the center of her attention. This was Phil's week to choose what she was making. For me, that was spaghetti and meatballs. For others, I don't know if they had, but everybody had a choice. They had their pick if you were coming, and it was your chance. That was what you got, and that's because she cared about you. And in that moment, no one else.
The other thing, as we're talking a little bit about food, is if you were with Bubby, you needed to close the bottle caps. I don't know, she just, there was something about when you were drinking a soda or you had a bottle open, close the bottle cap all the way, or else you would get yelled. I don't know what you would call it. It would be like your little verbal, like, potch or like something. She would make sure you closed it all the way. You couldn't leave it open. Yeah, the other thing, this is kind of the thing that I think I'm gonna miss the most is if Zadie starts nudging me, then I don't have Bubby to say, Marv, stop it. Like, Bubby was the one I could use to get, so someone else is gonna have to help me with that because Bubby was the one. She could always get Zadie to stop nudging. I wrote down that she was a mean war player. I think we each had our chance to play the card game War with her. I'm blessed to say she had a chance to show Avi the cards. She didn't exactly teach him how to play. He knows his numbers, but a concept like that. But she definitely showed him the card deck, so he had a chance to see that Bubby played cards. That was something that stuck out to me too. Everybody kind of used words. For me, she was simple, kind of like that donut she got from Dunkin' Donuts. It was plain, like it was the plain old-fashioned donut, but elegant, like her trips to the beauty shop, her outfits that matched. That's what described Bubby, those two words. She was a fighter, stubborn. That sticks out to me also. Just some stories from the last few visits that I got over the last 5 or 6 weeks. The first time where I visited, where she was you could tell that she didn't, things weren't going great, but she was still sitting in the den on her throne, her perch on the couch. And we were watching the State of the Union, because I specifically went there for that, because who else to sit watching State of the Union with, because no one else cares. Bubby, that's the one. So, I didn't know what to expect, but I wasn't getting my normal reaction. So I said, Bubby, like, that's Joe Biden. He's the president. Like, she's just sitting there, like, and so she mustered up that strength to, like, give him the little Queen's clap, and that was really fun. And for sure, even more energy for Ted Cruz and Mitch McConnell. She does not like them, and that reaction that I got that night to see was priceless because she does not like them. And like everybody else said, if she didn't like you, you knew it. So that was definitely the first visit that stuck out. The second time that I had a chance to come back, she at this point she was in that bed in the bedroom. I think Jen and I came over. And we were just sharing stories and pictures, and I told her that we took Avi to go bowling, and it was his first time, and we went to this like little lane, and obviously, as everybody would expect, he throws the ball down, and he starts running after it. And so, reaction, I start running after him. Who falls? Me, not him. So, right. So and when we were telling her the story, and you could tell she processed it. It didn't have a ton of energy to do it, but that was the biggest laugh that I had seen from Bubby in quite some time when we told her this story. And I guess it was at me. So, because who else would it be at? And then I guess lastly, I will hold forever. I went last Thursday. She wasn't doing well at all on Thursday. At that point, she was kind of pretty much asleep. The night nurse that was watching them, if they're here, thank you for doing that. She was sleeping the whole time. I was with Zadie and my mom. We were looking at the pictures on this picture frame that we have for them. By the way, if you all give them a zip drive of pictures of you and your family, they can stick it in and switch it. So Zadie can have pictures. But she woke up when the nurse came, and I didn't know if the nurse kind of said she went back to sleep. But at that point, I was getting ready to leave. My mom was leaving, and I said, I went in to see, and she actually, her eyes were open. I said, Bubby, I love you. Have a good night. And she said, I love you too. And that was very, very special to me. Lastly, to close, I share a little bit from Jenna, a perspective. She told me that she treated her like like she was a grandchild. She always asked us for pictures of Avi. She called him smart. We were chopped liver. She wanted to know what was he doing. Jenna told me she had a chance to do some puzzles with him. Like I said, she showed him cards. So to Bubby, Avi was what mattered at that point. I know she cared, obviously, like I said about all of us, but she always would ask about Avi. Zadie does the same. So we're not chopped liver, okay? And then lastly, I just want to end saying that the Thelma, the oral law, says that parents receive benefit or merit in the world to come from the deeds of their children, and vice versa. Children receive merit or benefit from the merit of their parents. And so that idea, to me, kind of symbolizes that there's an eternal nature of a reciprocal relationship between a parent and a child. And I just wanted to take a chance to say thank you to Uncle Howard, to my mom, to Aunt Judy, taking care of Bubby every day, morning, afternoon, evening shifts, and for being there, and the merit that you'll have and give to Bubby through doing that, through all of the deeds will help her in the world to come, and helps you here. So thank you, and I love you, Bubby.
Will you please stand with me for the memorial prayer? Elamale rachamim shochein b'meromim hametzei menucha nechona tachat kanfei hashchina b'ma'alot kedoshim u'toharim Kazohar harakia masirim et nishmat Rachel bat Reb Zusia v'chana shehalcha liolama began Eden tehei menuchata ana ba'ala rachamim asti reha b'seiter kenafecha liolamim utzror beitzor achayim et nishmatach Adonai hu nachalatach v'tanuach b'shalom al mishkavah V'nomar Amen. El Malei Rachamim, exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and the pure to the soul of Thelma Rose Schwartz, who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful God, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace, that her soul should be bound up in the bonds of our lives, that you, God, should be her portion. May she always, may she forever, may she truly rest, only rest in peace. And we say Amen. May be seated. Burial is following this service directly taking place at Sharei Tefillah Cemetery located on Windsor Mill Road. Family will be observing Shiva at Michael and Sharon's home. The address is 2418 Lightfoot Drive in Baltimore, receiving after burial services today until 5, taking a short break, and then a service this evening at 7 p.m., and receiving tomorrow from 11 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. Your presence at Shiva is always a comfort to family in the time of loss. Tonight will help to ensure the minyan, but most importantly, will be an honor to Aunt Tammy's memory.
As your names are called, will the following active pallbearers please go to the back of the chapel? Michael Sharp, Richard Noodleman, Shane Schwartz, Philip Sharp, Adam Sharp, and Charles Noodleman. And as your names are called, will the following honorary pallbearers please go to the back of the chapel to form a guard of honor? Kara Noodleman and Grace Schwartz. Will everyone please rise?
There's more of the body, and I really, I'm sorry. Yes, sure.